England, a country within an island, united, kind of, as a kingdom. Having such a long culinary history, why do people say British food is terrible? Join me, a Canadian, on my food adventure to see if British food is as terrible as the internet claims. Now, I can't talk about British food without talking about the full English breakfast, or the fry-up as it's also called. Now, in order for a breakfast to become a full English breakfast, there must be certain ingredients present on the plate. This is a photograph of the very first full English breakfast I ever ordered in the UK, and I was very excited. But when you look at this photograph, you might notice there's something missing from this plate. That's right, where's my frickin' black pudding? If you thought that big mushroom was black pudding, you were incorrect. And yes, the menu said it was coming with black pudding. I think they just forgot. And I didn't realize it until I finished eating it and felt sad. Fast forward a year later, this is now my redemption full English breakfast. And gosh darn it, it looks so full. The two elements on this plate that I think divide people who are not from the UK would be the baked beans and the black pudding. Now, I personally grew up eating baked beans, put a bunch of hot dogs inside that, and you've got yourself a dinner, brah. But it's black pudding that divides people. Even if you're from the UK, not everybody likes it. I truly believe this is just a branding problem. Not that the peasants in the ye olde day who are just trying to survive would have foreseen this as a problem in the future. But the idea that it's made from blood seems to turn people off, even though they're willing to eat steak, which, I hate to break this to you, it also contains blood. And it doesn't help that our gothy little sausage is just so unappealing looking. It's not their fault. However, none of this scared me off because I actually lived in Korea for many years and I ate Korean blood sausage called sundae, which is arguably even uglier looking than the British black pudding. But in the end, sundae ended up being one of my all-time favorite Korean street food snacks, and I just had to kind of get over the appearance of the whole thing. So without further ado, I'm finally getting to try my very first black pudding. And you know what? The texture really surprised me. I thought it was going to be like a sausage, like quite meaty, but it's not. It's actually more of like a crumbly, herby oatmeal that you kind of mix up with your beans and with your nice runny egg, and it just adds a nice texture to everything. I don't think you should let the fact that it looks so gothy and sad and weird turn you away from trying a full English breakfast. Give it a chance the next time you're in the UK. But I am confused about one thing. It's definitely not a pudding. I'm a big fan of stuff wrapped in pastry, and frankly, I'm a little suspicious of people who say they don't like a good pastry. The UK is a prime destination for pastries. But I'm not talking about those buttery croissants. I'm talking about hearty meals that can fit in the palm of your hand. Wow, magic! I really wanted to try a pork pie. I honestly thought that it was going to be a very dense meat, something that would be quite tough to bite into because it's just so packed in there. The point is that it wasn't actually tough. It was super soft, amazing to bite into. You can see the shock on my face. I genuinely did not expect it to be as soft as it was. So pork pie, you have lived up to my expectation. I cannot wait to have more. Something else I'd like to have more of is sausage rolls. Unfortunately, I bought this sausage roll with the fantasy of eating it peacefully on the train. And the train ended up being insanely packed. People were very cross. It was not a great atmosphere for enjoying a sausage roll, but I did enjoy it later on. Now, the queen of all pastries in my book is the pasty. Fun fact, they call it a pasty because it was invented in the past. So what is a pasty? I want you to imagine a full meal on a plate. We've got lamb, potato, a little bit of mint sauce. Now, instead of serving it on a plate, let's put it on a pastry, and then let's fold that bad boy up. It's like a pie, but you can eat it like a burrito. From steak and Stilton, chili beef and cheese, to spicy chicken and mango, the combinations are truly endless. And if you're interested in seeing what a Canadian pasty is like, you should check out our video on Prince Edward Island, the smallest maritime province in Canada. They do call them hand pies, not pasties, but to quote Will.I.am Shakespeare, "What's in a name? That which we call a hand pie, by any other name would taste just as good." And I am sad to report that this is my second failed attempt to try the near Michelin level patisserie G-Regs. It's always closed when I try to go. Why is it closed so early? It feels like the perfect after drinking food. G-Regs one day. Now, I love potatoes, and I was very excited to try an exceptional jacket potato. But instead, whilst unknowingly at Mr. Darcy's estate, I ordered the most expensive and disappointing potato I have ever beheld. This chili cheese jacket potato was sad and wrong in so many ways. The so-called chili tasted like canned vegetable soup with absolutely no flavor. The cheese? Just look at how cold it is. It's not even mixed in. It's just laying there, unmelted and miserable.
Know how they masquerade, my boy.
I know the UK has better jacket potatoes than this, so please leave me some locations in the comments that I should visit. Jacket potato redemption is needed. And now that that tragedy is over with, let's go from one of the worst things I've seen in the UK to one of the best things I've seen.
In Wiltshire, Giles and his wife Mary.
Oh, Mary, I'm reading about finishing wood. There's lots to be learnt about wood, you see. New wood. This one involves strippers.
Strippers? What do you...
Solvent strippers, Mary.
Why do you have to say it that way?
When we visited Okinawa, we did so during the off-season to avoid the insanely humid and hot summer season.
Oh, Mary. What does that look like to you?
Like a tree, Giles.
Does it remind you of anything else, maybe? Maybe
No.
something only half of us have in this room?
Do you mean a braid?
Oh, and it's got a little bit of nori on the side as well.
Oh, how horrible. Are they eating seaweed inside their soup, Nutty?
Oh, but Mary, it's monosodium glutamate, MSG.
And that's MSG.
They framed the Chinaman so people would believe it's unhealthy, but it actually makes everything taste wonderful, and it's...
Oh, terrible that they framed him.
I know.
Bin beer, which simply means bottled beer in Japanese, is commonly used for sharing within groups.
Oh, look at that, Mary. Look at those tiny glasses. Haha.
Oh, that's so nice. Oh, I want to travel to Japan one day, Nutty.
Oh, I couldn't think of anything worse, Mary.
I know, you don't really even like leaving the house.
Too far away, too many different things. No. Not for Giles. But Mary, if you do go, please go and find the tree. Go and take a picture of that wonderful tree.
How am I supposed to send you photos, Nutty?
Well, you see, there is an application called Saily, and Saily can be downloaded to your phone, and you can have data. Yes, Mary, you can just buy a plan for over 200 countries, or you can even get a regional pack, which means that you can travel to multiple countries.
Using the same application, Saily.
And it will be activated the moment you land in each country, so you won't be looking around the airport for Wi-Fi devices and trying to connect to the internet. Which one, Mary?
Stop saying it that way, Nutty.
It's the interweb, isn't it?
Oh, Nutty, I remember this now. There's a discount code, isn't there?
Ah, is there a word that people should remember?
Yes. King Kogi will give you 15% off your first eSIM purchase.
Oh, that's a significant saving.
Yes, the mind is still sharp, Nutty.
Yes. You know what, Mary? Maybe we will travel to Okinawa. Okinawa to see all the wonderful nature and the trees.
Oh, honestly, Nutty, you're obsessed with these trees.
I think they look very peculiar.
It's only because they look like a gigantic dangling
On my first visit to the UK, I did a terrible job of trying all the things that I wanted to try, such as a Bakewell Tart. I had seen this on the Great British Bake Off. It kind of looked like this. Then I found out that we were nearby Bakewell, the town, as in the town that made it up. So we went to Bakewell. I got all these crazy looking tarts, but apparently this is a Bakewell pudding, and these are Bakewell tarts, and these are the OGs, and then these are the kind of ones that everyone in the UK thinks are Bakewell tarts. Let's just get into this. I'm not gonna eat this all to myself, but I'd like to just try this out, because it looks to me suspiciously like a Canadian butter tart. And if you've not had a butter tart, you are really missing out on life. There's only so many things we do in Canada, you guys. Whoa, okay. Am I doing this right? Yeah. Guys, it's a butter tart for sure. Destroyed it. Should I eat it like a pizza slice? you think I should pizza slice it? I'm gonna pizza slice this. Okay, so this is apparently like the original one.
Doesn't look like a pudding to me.
Here we go, itadakimasu. Okay, why does it taste like orange? Have you had this before? You haven't tried it before?
Yep.
Okay, so this is not what they've done in the Great British Bake Off. This is what they have in the Great British Bake Off. This has like a marmalade-y taste to it. It's actually really good. And this one apparently is the original one as well. Look at it. It's like a tart with a thing on top of it. I'm just gonna bite right on in, honestly. Oh, okay, that was a bad idea. Don't do that, you guys. That's a bad idea. It's a little dry, if I'm being honest. I think I need a little bit. My mouth needs some water. Okay, it's fine, recovery. It's on the inside. I'm gonna take a bite on the inside then. Okay, I got it. This kind of like orangey marmalade-y thingy is on the inside of this. This does feel like old people food. When they give it to you, you know what I mean? And they're like, here, have this delicious dessert. Oh my God, thank you. A liquid. Okay, all right, maybe I'm starting to understand why there's icing sugar on the modern versions. I'm gonna cut into this one instead. Oh no. Like bone through butter. There we go. If I was Paul Hollywood, at this point I'd start fingering this tart, and so that nobody else could consume it. Look at that layer. That is a hefty layer of something. All right. Whoa. So good. Really so good. All right, so now it's dry and sweet at the same time. What is this hard stuff here?
Icing.
This is icing?
Yeah.
That's a pretty hefty amount of icing on this thing. But I would say it actually brings more moisture. And this has like a cherry filling, but this one does not have a cherry filling. Okay, so I've learned some things about Bakewell Tarts. Might be an old person food, not sure, which makes me feel like I'm not that old, even though I thought I was old because I like old things, like crumpets. Maybe a cup of tea would have been the right decision to make. You can't win all your adventures in dessertery. What's that? This probably should be heated up with custard.
Pudding will be warmed with custard.
So you've set me up the bomb, is what you've done.
Yeah, you've done.
Yeah.
Yesterday's pudding cold.
Cold, day-old pudding without the custard and not the way it's supposed to be served. And everyone online is gonna be mad at me for not liking your British traditional things. Next time I come back, I'm gonna try it again. It'll be like non-stop Bakewells done however many ways possible.
But I'm happy to report that I did get my redemption Bakewell Tart in. Funny story, we were taking a train between Bristol and Birmingham and it was absolutely packed to the gills and everybody was pretty cranky and cross. Except for the most patient angel of a Bristolian man I have ever seen, the train conductor, who managed to calm everybody down. And he even offered me a Bakewell Tart. He gave it to me at Birmingham Station. And yes, it was something that you can get from a grocery store. It was a packaged one, and it was so delicious. So I think I've learned a valuable lesson that older does not always mean better. Ancient is not always the best way to do things. Turns out a little bit of moisture in the crust makes things taste pretty good. Now, I'm a big fan of good beer, excellent ale, and wonderful cider, so I was chuffed to go check out all the pubs in the UK. Of course, I enjoyed chips, aka crisps, and I had some delicious pork scratchings, or pork rinds as you might know it in North America. And all of that was fantastic, but I have to admit I was a little bit hesitant about trying the actual food on the menu. Now, this is just a personal bias because I figured everyone is so focused on making excellent beer, the food couldn't possibly be good, and I was entirely mistaken. I've had delicious juicy pork and roast beef dinners, steak and kidney pies with buttery pastry, roast turkey dinner with all the sides. I've heard complaints about pizza in the UK, but all the pizza I ordered at a pub was honestly scrumptious. Maybe you guys are going to the wrong places. I even had some amazing tiny little fried fish all the way down in Axminster. But I have to say, the thing that surprised me the most was curry in a pub. The King's Head in Nottingham had an incredible selection of beer, cider, whiskey, and other spirits. So I figured their focus was just on, good ale and stuff. But I was totally wrong because they teamed up with a local restaurant called Paji's, and it is a legitimate Indian food restaurant. We ordered the chapati chaat, which is not to be mistaken for the chapati ji, which is samosa covered in a sweet yogurt, tamarind, green chutney drizzle, fresh onion, coriander, and sev, which is like a crunchy noodle. And we grabbed a spicy vegetarian curry, the Bihari Buhuni Sagwala, which I'm sure I have butchered. And it was made with spinach and cream, turmeric, cinnamon, and garam masala. I mean, it was so scrumptious, plus the high-quality beer and cider. This was a dream. And then shortly afterwards, I smashed my knee and twisted my ankle walking over some cobblestone that was completely missing. There was just a hole in the ground, and I think Nottingham needs to work on patching up those danger cobblestones. But it wasn't the fault of the pubs and the food, that was still delicious.
But I do have one final thing, which is going to be a redemption dessert. Because if you remember, I also had a Victoria sponge. And everyone online was like, you got a crappy Victoria sponge. I'm like, how am I supposed to know? It's my first Victoria sponge. So I've got another Victoria sponge. And we're going to see if this one is any better. It already looks better than the other one I had, which looked really dense. I'm gonna try this one out and we'll see if there's recovery. All right, we got the vanilla sponge, some kind of cream, some kind of strawberry jam. This is supposed to be the way that it is apparently. We will see. Again, day old. I probably should have done this day of, but you can only fit so much dessert in your tummy. Looks good so far. These are big boy desserts, you guys. How often have you had a Victoria sponge in your life, would you say? Often? Birthday parties?
I was going to say only a birthday party.
Only at birthday parties. This is way better than the other Victoria sponge I had. Okay. This is surprisingly light considering how dense it looks. This is quite good. This reminds me of I know it's not strawberry shortcake, but it gives me that kind of vibe of creamy, sweet strawberry jam and a vanilla sponge, but not like a really heavy soaked vanilla sponge. This was the redemption here then. Look at those layers on that. But the way that they cut it was quite funny. Like a big old cake, and they were just and they just put it in a plastic bag and wrapped that bag with plastic, and they're like, there you go. We go all cake boxy in North America, and Japan goes even ridiculously more hardcore than that with little ice packs and little rolled up things to keep it from moving. They were like, here's your cake, it's in a bag, and go for it. 10 out of 10, Victoria sponges. I will continue to research them for the next time I come back to the UK.
Sure, it's easy to find British food while in the UK, but you'll need to go to the right city to enjoy legit international cuisine. We're heading to a city that everyone knows and loves. It starts with an L. That's right, the curry capital of England. It's Leicester! Or call it Leicester, it doesn't really matter to me. We're enjoying dinner tonight with our friend Paul at Yo Fresh. This is one of my favorite ways to eat food at a restaurant. It's Chinese hot pot and also barbecue.
Cook a combo breaker.
That's right, you are held with the responsibility of grilling your own meat. And you also have an area for your hot pot. You can split it in half so you can have a super spicy hot pot or just a plain normal broth. And the best part is that they have a refrigerator where you get to choose anything that you want to add to your hot pot or anything that you want to grill on your barbecue. You get to choose. The adventure is up to you.
Endless possibilities.
Now, yes, it's all you can eat within a time limit, and you choose different types of meat, poultry, or fish, and they will give them to you in small doses at a time so that you're not wasting any meat at the end of the meal. We did pork, we did crab, we did shrimp. Make sure you go there with an appetite, bring friends that like to eat, and enjoy fresh barbecue right at your fingertips, no matter how rainy the day is. Chinese hot pot and barbecue for the win. And we also enjoyed the Turkish food at Istanbul restaurant. Located on Narborough Road, this street really reminds me of being back home in Toronto, both design-wise and from the lovely mix of cultures. We shared a platter with homemade hummus, vine leaves, and other tasty delights with our friend John. I tried my first Turkish pizza, which was super thin and incredibly flavorful. I didn't realize you can get so much flavor off of something so thin. And of course, we had vegetables. Precious vegetables. I felt a little bit of a lack of vegetables in my diet over the past couple weeks. But the lamb chops grilled to perfection really stole the show. Once again, Leicester did not disappoint with their excellent assortment of diverse food and cultures. So returning back to the question at the beginning of this video, is British food terrible? Absolutely not. On my 2 trips to the UK, I've enjoyed a lovely assortment of food, but I will say there is a strong lack of fresh vegetables. And sadly, potatoes just don't count.
Look at how they massacred my boy.
And if you haven't seen my other UK videos, I did 2 observation videos, which you should definitely check out. There is plenty of arguing over how to use a faucet and sink plug in the comments section, so join on in. It's gross. I'm not filling a sink with a plug and washing my hands in a public sink. I will die on that hill. And thus we've come to the end of my video essay on, is British food terrible? I'm curious if any of you have been to the UK, like some of you might be living there right now. And if you've not been to the UK, have you ever tried any food that's from the UK? You know, maybe there's a local fish and chip shops near you, or
A jacket potato place.
the bitterness. There are still many things I want to try in the UK, including haggis, and I really want to try Welsh rarebit. I don't even know what that is. I can't even begin to think about it. And like mushy peas and just like tons of fun stuff that I haven't had yet. And I'm sure there's a whole world of Great British Bake Off that I haven't delved into either.
I've never had a Chelsea bun.
It really works. It really works. That's a very, northern accents are complicated. That really works. No, see, it's getting worse. Fingers the Chelsea bun. And a genuine thank you so much to everybody who is a member of the King Kogi channel, either through YouTube or on Patreon, and as well as all of the King Kogi subscribers and everyone leaving comments. You know, I gotta say, the YouTube world is kind of sucking lately. Like half of you guys are like, we're not even receiving your notifications. Even members are like, I'm notified, I'm subscribed, I've clicked that little bell that sends little bings through the universe, but they're not even getting those. So I really, really, really have to thank you for supporting the channel. Well, everybody, keep keeping it cool in the King Kogi village, and we have one final word from Giles and Mary.
So if you're traveling abroad and you need data on your phone, use the quick response code on the screen right now.
You use your cellular device to scan it, don't you, Nutty?
Yes, you do, Mary.
Yes.
Yes.
Hmm.
Have they scanned it yet, Mary?
I'm not sure, Nutty. We seem to still be sitting here.
Hopefully they've scanned it by now.
It is in the information box as well, isn't it?
They can even use an iPad if they have that. A tablet device.